What's up, y'all? Sunday story time. I was going to go over a few things. First, I'm going to do a box opening, something that I got from Autometer. So let's see what we have here. I had on the 89 Ram Charger, I'm having an issue with the oil pressure switch. And I had replaced it and it worked for a while and then it stopped working. So to fix that, or see if it's accurate instead of getting another one of those sensors, we put the money towards a fancy braided hose and this little beauty right here. So we'll be able to accurately measure the oil pressure in the Ram Charger, and it matches the tachometer. So that's pretty cool. Cheers. What's up?
What's up?
This is my Familia, my good friend, bestest friend, Chris, aka the Mexican. Okay. So the last time we tried to do this, I had to delete it because it was so freaking horrible.
I don't know why.
Man.
We're good Christian boys. I don't know what happened.
We went hard in the paint on it and was saying, after I was back in Shreveport, and then we were going to talk about his van, and it got off into all kind of other stuff. And then I listened it to edit to it, and I was like, oh. So I deleted it and then did the delete where it like deletes it off the deleted thing. And he's like, hey man, what's up on the video? And I'm like, yeah, man, that's a no-go. That's not a good thing right here. So when we have known each other for years, many years, decades.
Yeah, at least 20.
Even a long freaking time. So you have a super sweet ride, and I went with you. In fact, it was the first thing that I hauled on the gooseneck.
Yeah. The heavy haul, you and the heavy hauler brought it down and grabbed it in your little trailer.
Yeah, the gooseneck was brand new, and first time we'd loaded anything. And I'm directing you to load it. I'm like, come on up. And I don't think you've drove anything up on a trailer.
It was like doing something with your dad. You're like, go this way. And I'm like, I'm going this way. And like you yelled at me and I was like, never mind.
I don't know what to do.
That's like, I'll just move it.
So I'll insert some pics of his, we'll tell him what you have.
1977 Dodge B200. Bam.
It's sweet. And her name is?
Mary Jane.
And why is her name Mary Jane?
Because she is a golden green and nice patina.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sweet Patina.
Shout out to Sweet Patina.
Yeah. You got the shirt on?
I got the Sweet Patina. You gave me this.
I did give you that, yeah.
Yeah, you bought some Sweet Patina.
You turned me on to it, and you were like, dude, you need to check this out. And I was like, all right, whatever. And then like, we did. That was the first thing we did. We took it to Nobody Customs. And they hooked me up, and we spent the weekend there working on it, and you
got fresh tires.
We washed it. We put the Sweet Patina on it. Yeah. I think while I was in the Patina, you changed one of the headlights out.
Yep.
And dude, it was good to go.
We checked fluids, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think we did a couple little wiring things.
Yeah,
maybe some little stuff.
Joel and his crew did the little one little rust spot.
Yeah. With the fiberglass, and he mixed the paint to match the patina.
Yeah, you can't even tell, but it's fucking great. Yeah,
there was one little deal on the windshield, and I will say this with the sweet patina, the rust spots on that, it turns it to like this cool bronze like brown color. It makes it super sweet, and then just gives I know this, I don't never use words like this, but like a richness to the paint, like a luster or something. Yeah. It's like a matte finish, but it
shimmers.
Yeah. It's like when you got ashy skin and you put some lotion on, and your tattoos you put the lotion on, you're like, dang, it looks new again.
Yeah.
It's lotion for your patina.
Your patina, yeah.
He should do sweet lotion,
It's
sweet patina lotion.
Sweet patina lotion, yeah, exactly.
I like that. That's exactly
he
what
needs
it
to pay
should.
for that if he uses that.
For sure. So, you are from where, sir?
The dirty Ratchet City.
Ratchet City, Shreveport. Home of Hurricane Chris.
Hurricane Chris and 50 Cent now.
Yeah,
we get to claim 50 now. 50
you
is
and
gonna
50
take over
Cent
our
been
city.
hanging out.
Yeah.
And the Louisiana Hayride, which I don't know if y'all know, Louisiana Hayride at one time was larger. It was a KWKH, was a local country radio station. For years, it was larger than the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah.
So you had Elvis Presley.
Elvis came through there, Hank, Johnny, all the big
OG
names
Hank,
yeah,
Hank Sr.
Yeah, Hank Sr.
Johnny Cash.
You need to
Johnny
insert
Horton.
here is when you insert the Elvis.
Yeah, the Elvis statue.
That's out front.
So there's a Elvis statue, and then what's his name? The
Burton.
Burton.
He plays
Elvis's
with
guitar
yeah,
player.
Yeah. He's still alive, I think.
Yeah, he's still around.
Yeah.
Yep. And then so Hank Jr. was born in Shreveport.
Yeah.
So he's a Shreveportian. He's from, back then it wasn't the Ratchet City. It's become Ratchet over the last, what was that, about 15 years ago? I guess is when that popped up.
Yeah, once you moved away, it became Ratchet.
For sure.
That's what caused it.
So I moved to Jack's Beach for a job down there. And you came to visit me probably, we decided 5 or 6 times, maybe?
Yeah, like at least 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
came on my birthday.
Yes. In the cold in Jack's Beach, which was like one year it was actually freaking cold.
Yeah, it snowed the last year I think I came.
Yeah.
It snowed like when I was leaving the day.
Yeah, so it never gets snow. He's leaving, is just getting out of like Jacksonville. He's like, it's freaking snowing. This is how. And I told him like, don't bring a hoodie.
No,
you don't need a jacket.
It's fine.
It's all shorts. You'll be good. So he's finally come up here to Michigan after I've been here about 4 years. So what are your thoughts so far on Michigan?
It's cool. I like it. It's clean.
It's clean.
The alleys are clean.
The
alleys are clean, which we learned. But I learned what Keno was, which is odd.
Yeah.
And then everyone's obsessed with it. But yeah, it's cool. I like it.
I still don't understand Keno.
I don't really understand.
You just pick numbers and they're on a screen. It looks like bingo or
yeah, but it's like
something.
Every single place we go, it doesn't matter. It's like Keno.
Keno's for the kids. Literally. So you got back to Mary Jane.
Yeah.
When you got her, there was this carpet, like shag from the 70s that was like a greenish.
It was shag covered from head to toe. And the only thing, the problem I ran into is like once you close the door, it rained down. It was falling apart. It was just dry rotted. So we gutted it.
Yeah, that was like, it would have been so cool to save that.
Oh, yeah.
But it was I guess dry rotted.
That's the only way to look at it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Sweet Patina putting it on there would have even helped it then. But you've got it stripped down, and then you did like
I did some like kill mat type stuff to like kind of insulate it, and then some other stuff to just kind of keeps the heat out and the sound out. So moving forward, and we've talked about, you're gonna help me, build a bed and do things forward to travel. But like, that's what we did.
Yeah, and it's the stuff you did is like the almost like tinfoil or aluminum sided on one side or whatever.
Yeah. It's kill mat. It's for sound and heat and barrier and the.
Did you put that up with like spray contact?
No, actually, most of it is just a peel and stick. It's real sticky. Sweet. It's like kill mat does it. It's like a lot of people use it for like the stereo and like their insides of like their hoods and stuff.
Noise dampening stuff.
Like it's some of that, and then like even Amazon makes their own little version. I use it for like part of the headliner. Like I kind of ran out, so I was like, oh, Amazon makes a cheap version, and I bought it. I didn't love it as much because it basically says Amazon all over it.
Heck yeah.
But it's a bright blue. But I did it, and it works.
I like it. So plans for bed. You got it. You did pick up like wasn't it a free marketplace?
Yeah,
like bench seat?
Actually, Yahoo Marketplace. I know it's where you make your money. It's someone was giving away a seat like out of a camper or something, and it was it reclined, so it's back there with my Waylon Jennings flag.
The Waylon Jennings flag makes it way cooler.
Yeah, that's Waylon. That's all we have.
Yeah. So, tell them the shirt you were wearing last night, what it said. You got some compliments on it.
It's David on Cole. I was drunk today. My mom got out of prison.
Oh, the OGs noticed.
Yeah, they did. They did.
One lady, the young lady's like, "That's hilarious," but she didn't know who it was. And we're like, David Allen Coe, Dak. And she's like, I don't know who that is. Well, then the song played, and I'm like, oh, that's the song. And she's, oh, I know that song. Obviously, you don't. You don't know that song. She wasn't drunk the day her mama got out of prison, obviously. And she doesn't know about the greatest country song
but she was drunk last night.
She was drunk last night. Yeah. She's pretty drunk.
We weren't.
No. So we get down with old school country. Yeah. Which is definitely not...
It's not everyone's.
Some genres that folks think it is. So, we talked about that. I guess we like the old school country, but more like the outlaw. Yeah, like we'll listen to some Hank Sr., but it's more Hank Jr., Waylon.
Yeah.
You know, then the old school, I guess, that mixes in that too is like George Jones.
You got some Conway.
Yeah.
You got
nicest, dude, Conway.
That's the best hair ever.
Best hair in country, and probably in all music.
Yeah, that bad.
I can't think of anyone else who has a head of hair like that. That's sweet. Definitely Johnny Cash.
Oh, yeah.
And today we were, I guess, kind of all over the place. We're listening to some Toadies. And dude, I'm not, okay. He shared with me this new Blink-182 song.
Yeah.
I like that. I've got to learn the word. I want to listen to the words, watch that again. It put a little something on me seeing that. That was freaking, it was cool.
It's always good to have the nostalgia when and too, that's like with like even the old country, because we related to our growing up, our childhood, our parents
for sure.
And such. It's so like when you see like something like that, that's the original lineup.
Yeah.
And they play a song about them getting back together. Like that's the things you want to hear, and then it hits you in a different spot because
for sure
those songs meant something to you.
Oh yeah,
growing up, and it's the same. It's the same thing with cars. You know this.
Yeah.
I was thinking about like what I would ask you, and I would be like, what car did you ever have that you wish you could have again?
Oh man, it's really rough,
right?
Because like I can think of 3 right off the bat.
Okay.
Did I say these?
Yes.
Okay, I had that the '83 C10.
Right.
It was red, cream, red, long wheelbase, had a stroker in it. It was. I still kick myself for selling that. Then I had a 1957 panel 1-ton with a 400 in it.
Oh shit!
And this young kid and his grandpa kept coming to the house and back in Doyline, and I had it out front there. Alan Smith, Alan with he's in he's my first video. So he had a 79 Camaro, 6-speed, with a stroker that was like the Burnout King. Just an amazing, insanely fast street car. Definitely not a legal car, but in Louisiana you get some waivers on some stuff that looks cool. Yeah. So he would help me get it running and everything, but this kid kept coming, and he finally bought his grandpa, and he's like, hey, man, do you want to sell this? We're going to, I work on old cars, I restore them, he's wanting this, whatever. And I finally caved in.
Yeah.
They did it right. They took it down, painted it, everything, did a really great job with it. And then, man, I had that 81 CJ7. It was just regular straight 6 CJ7, but I'd put solid axles in it, a nice lift kit, it had, heavy duty clutch, all the stuff. And it was an old school Jeep.
Right.
It was blue, had the blue eagle on the hood,
nice.
The decal that was faded, that was like 2 or 3, like a blue and a white and a cream. It was just a really cool Jeep or whatever. And then, man, I'd sold it. But I think out of all those, probably that C10.
Yeah. I agree.
It was hard to I let that one go, and then I instantly kind of regret it. But I'd bought, moving to the beach, I'd got that JK. I'm like, hey, man, I want to live on the beach life, do this. I'd not had a Jeep in years. I'm like, with this one with the extra doors, I can haul wiener dogs and a Jack Russell in it. And just had more room for when people visit and stuff like that. I mean, back even when I was in Shreveport, I remember us going like to Bears one night, and I had the roof down.
Yeah.
And then unbeknownst to us, one of those Louisiana thunderstorms come, and man, I'd had the carpet in it, everything. No plugs, and there were like the floorboards were filled up because the drain plugs were in, and it was just, dude, it took like a week, even in Louisiana heat, to dry. And that's when I pulled like all the carpet, and I'm like, all right, I'm done with carpet and plugs. But the reason I had that in there is the, it's so hot in Louisiana. Man, when you'd have to bust that, air conditioner now, you wanted that extra insulation, like you're doing with Mary Jane.
Exactly.
You got, like, folks going, why are you putting this in there? And I'm like, man, it's hot here.
People don't understand that. Like, it's like when people are like, why? Like, we've talked about this. Like, why is the top not down? I say because it's hot.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it looks cool, but I'd rather be comfortable than cool. Like,
well, dude, my fear is living out there. Folks like, I'd take the doors off, but I'd like put them back on, do the top, and they're like, why are you doing that? And I'm like, bro, there's water moccasins and copperheads. I don't want them crawling up through the open door and, cruising down the ammo plant highway and have a freaking a copperhead coming to the air conditioning
Final
vent.
Destination movie,
bites me on my cheek.
It could
or
be
something.
a muskrat.
Exactly. Yeah. We won't get into, now I'm having a war with muskrats, but we're not going to get into the muskrat war here. That's
a whole nother video.
Yeah, that's a whole nother video with these muskrats are full-on war. That threw me off talking about the muskrats. So what we've kind of talked about with Mary Jane is doing, man, that like, which was an amazing era, that 70s boogie van. And man, like the ones like, for y'all that don't know, it had like there was an airbrushed wizard on the side or a Viking.
Yeah,
or,
you can still find them. You see them and you're like, man, you got to appreciate it. Like, someone went through all that detail and like that was such a big thing in the time period. Like it's the same thing we just talked about, like music. You gotta respect it. Like
for sure.
It's such a like, holy shit, like a nostalgic thing that you're like, that was so rad,
I see now, and that culture was mixed back then too, and I hate to call some of them are hipster bikers, but like a lot of the chopper crowd is into the Boogie Vans and stuff too.
Yeah.
So a lot of these that do like the chopper meets and stuff like that, they're in their vans. Some of them are hauling their vans and stuff like that, all the panels or whatever. But kind of what the plan for his is the, having the bed in the back, all the wood, build like a little bar in there, have like a, little mini fridge.
Just storage, like simple. Like I don't want to go crazy. Like some of those old vans you see in there, I'm just like, I don't know how they did that.
Oh, for sure.
Like you see, like they had like the big arches and like I'm like, how, like why, like where in your head did you go, that makes sense, but it looks so cool, and I'm like, god damn. But I'm like, I can't, like I want simple. Like I'm a simple person. Like I want a bed, I want to be able to like travel, I want storage, I want my fridge, I want a little bit of a bar, like we said. I want to be able to like close it off and like be comfortable and like travel and do things. But
and when you open the doors, it looks cool and everything, but it being practical, where some of those aren't practical.
Practical is the word, because like a lot of those old school setups were so rad, but I was like, you can't have at this day and age, you can't have like I have dogs. I have a dog, and he's always going to travel with me, and I'm like, I can't imagine having that carpet, that this, and that, and stopping somewhere, and he's going to run out and piss or do his business, and he's going to run back in and drag God knows what back in the van.
Hey, I brought a dead squirrel up in here.
No. Bro.
And you can still get that. I mean, I know we've talked about, we, kind of got a vision. I know what you're wanting, and of us doing it where it's pays homage to those, but is also where you can actually use. It's not a show van.
Yeah. Oh no.
It's like a show van, but it's one that you use and take care of.
And that's the thing. Even with like how it looks on the outside, I've had people were like, "Oh, are you gonna paint it?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna paint it." Yeah. That's why the Sweet Patina thing, because I was like, I like it. And it has a dented front end
for sure
on the passenger side. But I'm like, we talked about it. We talked about like asking Joel to fix it and stuff. Mm-hmm. But like, why? Like, I like how it looks. Like, I want it to be dirty.
It's that character.
That builds character, and that builds like like how it should look. It's like a lived in, like it does what it does. Because I think if it was too pretty and too shiny, it wouldn't be me. And one and two, I wouldn't want to drive it. I wouldn't want to like take it places, you know?
Okay, I used to make fun, Joel, Nobody Customs. I'd tell Nobody all the time. He would have something and he's like, oh man, I can't, it's raining, I can't drive this. I'm like, how can you have something and not want to drive it in the rain? I don't understand. Until I got the Ram Charger. Because I've never had anything not, like I've had nice car or not, like the C10 was nice, but it was same thing, had dents in it and some rust and stuff like that. I mean, it was cool, but it wasn't like, I didn't mind getting in it with dirt on my shoes.
Like lived in, per se,
So I get the Ram Charger and this thing's like,
that's
nice. And I'm like,
that would make me nervous going in.
I'm like, bro, don't lean on this. Don't do that. It is rain. And I finally told Joel, I'm like, okay, dude, I get what you're so particular about. Cause I'm just like, I enjoy it, but I'm also like going, I hadn't had anything that shiny and new and I want to keep it the shiny and new. Yeah. So, and I also like with Mary Jane, say you go to a, car meet, cruising, whatever, and you bust open those doors. You want it where it like looks cool, like maybe have the Playboy shaped bunny mirror in there. Have some or a old, me and the Jack Daniel mirrors and with those old bar mirrors something in there looks cool. Yeah, but where you can also use it, but it's also where when people look in there, like with a Whalen flag and stuff, they're like, oh, I'm down with this. This is cool. It's something he uses, and then I know one thing that you are extremely good at, especially with. I'm dying over here. Especially with how you decorate your house and the stuff you add. It's very eclectic. But in the coolest of ways. It's almost like you have a very Louisiana vibe, but like it's like I don't know the words to use, but it's like Gothic New Orleans. This that like I'm not using. I don't know the words to actually call it, but it has a flow, and I know you're going to transfer that coolness.
To me, it's like the weirder the better, and then two, it's like you have to make it your own. You have to make it or like your vision. You're going like that's how I want it to look because it's like it. Everybody's like, oh, your car's an extension of your home,
For sure,
this happens, but it really is. And when you have something that's especially like an older vehicle, not just like a newer, like that's the worst part. Is like I have newer vehicles, and I'm like, it's not the same. Yeah. Like I can get in my car, and it's a 2017, and I'm like.
How many other 2017s are out on the road?
Looks like that, and it gets me where I want to be, and it gets good gas mileage. But like, if I get in my van, and I'm like, it's like it's a sense of relief where you're just like, this feels like home
for sure.
Even like as much as it can be frustrating, this while working on vehicles, where you cuss it for everything it's worth, and you want to tear everything apart, and you want to throw things out the window, but you get in there and you're like, okay, this feels like home. And so you can make it your own. You can do the little things that make a big difference. And it's like having an apartment or a house. Like you can decorate it and you can be like, oh, I want to do this or this. But like, if you take it out of the normal of like, oh, it's just this or that, or it's a light switch, it's this, or it's what you have on your shelves. But you can add that touch that makes it your own.
For sure.
And I think that's where the older cars thrive when people don't understand.
It's also the attachment like you have to them, and that they have like a personality to them. And not I'm with you, man. Like Lindsay has a new Dodge truck, and dude, it has every freaking amenity on it, and it's heated seats, air conditioned seat, everything.
And she can drive over all the curbs.
All the curbs. It hits curves like a mofo. But when we get in her 68 C10, not near the amenities, doesn't drive near the same. But when you're in there, it's like, this is freaking rad,
and you
man.
always feel different driving it.
Yeah.
Like, there's days, if anyone owns an old car, the feeling. You stop at a red light, and you're like, please don't die. Please don't die. Please don't die. Or like, what is that noise? You're just sitting there, you're like,
there's a new, you get to know the noise. Like, okay, I know what this noise
you're like,
is.
I know what that is. But then sometimes you're like, what was that? What was it? But like, it is a difference being in that type of vehicle. And like, I think that speaks volumes of like appreciating something that's that old or that.
For sure.
That rad. Because you put more love into that than you do like a newer vehicle.
Yeah. Like,
I have a newer vehicle and I love it. It gets me where I need to go. It gets me to work. Gets my girlfriend to work. It does all these things we want to do. But like, if I get in the van, even if I'm sitting at a light and I'm thinking, please don't die, I still feel different driving it.
For sure.
I'm sitting at that red light, like, I'm still might be sitting there like, please don't die, but I'm like, this is way cooler.
This is way cooler than the
I feel like, I'm like, this is so awesome.
Well, and then the comments you get, like, at the gas pump or the store, people like, oh, that's cool. What's that?
I've had people come up and be like, I had a van that was like this old and blah, blah, blah. And I lived on the beach. And like, I had a dude tell me this whole long story about how he had one. He used to go to the beach and then like they left it out and it rained and they got like mold in it and he sold it. And like, it's crazy stories. And they're like, people relate to you and you're like, but they're never going to come up in the newer vehicle and be like, well, I had that vehicle. Like, it's people don't understand like the difference in having a vehicle that has history, even if, yes, you may think it's going to die every life. Yeah. But like it has history and it makes you feel so much different and you relate so differently to that vehicle.
Well, it's also learning that like, I know how many times you've been under it.
Yeah.
But you like, it's like an extension of, like you're under there and like, okay, I know where this is, know where that is, know where this is. Where I pop the hood on some of these new vehicles.
Oh, you don't even know.
And I'm like, I don't even know where the battery is. It's like a plastic shell. You have to remove 20 bolts, do this.
And the little things you got to pop out.
Yeah, to change the spark plug, you're like, remove the rear tire. And I'm like, hold on, what?
Yeah. I had a C10 too, and eventually it got stolen, returned, so blah, blah, blah. But like, you could almost literally crawl in that engine.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you could open it and be like, I could sit here and work on everything.
For sure.
And, you know, like, of course, the van's different because it has a doghouse. You can pull it out. But, like, it's the same thing. Like, you can see where everything's at. You can trace lines. You can be like, okay, if I have a leak, I know it's this area, so it's probably this.
You can kind of deduce.
But, like, if it's, like, a newer car, you're like, it could be anything.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and, like, it's worse because, like, if my car now makes a noise, and I'm like, oh, shit, like, what is this? It's going to die. You know, and like, but like, even if it's the van and like it makes noise, I'm like, all right.
To me, if it's a new vehicle, I think in like thousands to fix stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
With the older stuff, I mean, it's not like these are Ferraris or something like that or whatever, you know.
I mean, it might be.
But in the, you know, for us or whatever, but when we're in like, you know, the Ram Charger and the van both have 318s, which is a, you know, the smaller small block version. There's like a 362 in the Chrysler stuff, but it is the longevity of it. You know, not a lot of horsepower, but these things run and run and run, and they're just dependability and all that stuff or whatever. But they're pretty much the same and all, you know.
Yeah.
You get that. But I know if something goes wrong on it, like, I mean, man, this was, I think I spent $130 on this meter and this deal. So I'm like, all right, $130. It was $30 for another oil pressure sending unit. I'm like, I got the little oil pressure, you know, I didn't want to, you know, maybe the last time I felt it was clogged, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Like, let me spin this. I'll hook this up, and that way I can actually see what the oil pressure is, see if it's going to need an oil pump, see if it's going to do, you know, these things, instead of relying on 1989 technology of a light that flashes a little oiler thing with oil squirting out of it. So, where if that happened even on my heavy hauler, I'd be going like, oh, oil pressure, crap. What do I do? Because you look underneath and it's just, you know, and I'm not by any means a mechanic.
Oh, no.
At all.
I'm a YouTube mechanic at this point. and I'm only a YouTube mechanic probably because of you.
Yes.
I was like, how do I do this and this? And you're like, just go on YouTube. I was like, what? And he's like, go on YouTube. I was like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I go on YouTube. And then it's so weird because, like, this day and time, like, it's so just, it's like whatever problem you have, how specific it is.
Yeah.
There's literally an answer. And
there's
like, what the hell?
Yeah, and I love when it's an old redneck dude that talks like me, and he's like, hey man, what you do is you go up over here and you pop the hood, disconnect the battery.
And they have the worst, and then like the camera angle's weird, but he's like
the camera's like this. No, you look right up over here where this dude is.
And then like he doesn't know where he's pointing, and then he's just spraying WD-40 on things, and he's like, but this worked. And you're like, holy shit, that worked. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna do it now. Yeah, like that's the difference in an old vehicle. Like, I don't know. Hands down, I wouldn't do it again. I would do it again, let's be honest.
Oh, yeah.
I would. But, like, yeah, like, I think everyone at some point in time should own an older vehicle.
Yes.
Because they don't understand. And then, like, now it's because we're outdated. Like, it's going to become a time where, like, you know, and what happens when, like, the craziness happens and the government shuts down?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we can't operate our vehicles and...
For sure.
You're going to wish you had that heavy hauler in that fucking van and the things that work.
Yeah. I mean, and that's it. So I could not figure out what was wrong with the heavy hauler. I mean, dude, we like had mechanics. I called, Joel. Yeah. Called nobody. All of these people.
Which Will Jordan doesn't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
Finally got it to this place, and the guy's like going, hey, man, we've checked everything. We had replaced the computer. Needed the computer done. Man, finding a computer for a 2006 6-speed 5.7, because most of all the 6-speeds are diesel. It's rare to find a gas 6-speed. Right. So it's it doesn't have an EGV. It has a special radio. It had all this, one-offs order in it. So you get that, man. I take it to the dealership. They're like, fuel pump. Change the fuel pump out here. You helped me, didn't you? It was hell changing this fuel. Man, just to reach the stuff to disconnect the gas tank and get that down. I ended up getting a Milwaukee impact wrench out of it because I couldn't get the stuff. I mean, I had like 8 cheater pipes and I'm feet on the frame, whatever. And I went up there and I'm like, shoot, and it comes right off because I don't have, didn't have air out here. And did this middle of the winter out here. But finally get it to the dealership. After that, I'm like going, hey man, I'm still having issues. And I'm like, I'm spending a lot of money on this.
Right.
So he's like, hey man, let me get my OG up over here. This dude's out there maybe like 30 minutes and he comes in, he's like, yeah, it's a wire for the oxygen sensor. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, he took the wire loose. He goes, we didn't have one of those. He was like, I can make one and all. And it was going to be like, it took him a while to figure out, do it once he did it or whatever. And he's like, he goes, bro, I'm charging you 1 hour in labor. He worked like 3. He goes, I'll take care of that. Don't worry. We got it. Get out there, crank it up. Boom, it's just fine. And I'm like, what about this other stuff? He goes, oh yeah, it definitely needed all that other stuff, but this was like the final boss of the issues was this wire. Yeah. And the thing is, I'm like, how do you figure this guy's, diagnostics? I mean, I get that. To me, it's amazing, but there's guys out there that can get their meter
they know what they're doing,
and run through there or whatever. But I'd had, the one guy that I'd used as a mechanic on some of the stuff that was beyond my skill set, or where we were living at the other place, I don't want to change a water pump in the driveway. No. That truck was too tall to go in the garage. There's snow on the ground. So, and the lesson I learned is I changed out the front bearing on that. And I don't know if you remember this. It's snow. There's 3-4 inches of snow on the ground. It's 20 degrees. The snow's melted, turned to ice. I've got a blue tarp. I've got my oxyacetylene out there. I've got a bearing puller. I've got it cranked. I'm heating it with a torch, and I've got a sledgehammer going, dunk,
I do remember that, yeah.
Dunk. Lindsay comes out, and she's like, it's almost dark. And it was a very quiet neighborhood. I don't know what the sound ordinance was, but it sounded like I'm shooting off a machine gun, or a 50 cal. Boom,
you're back in Shreveport?
Boom. Yeah.
It's a night in Shreveport.
Yeah, sound like they're not used to that noise up here.
Yeah.
So, man, I finally hit it one time, and it just exploded off of it. I'm like, what? Dude, I'd worked on this thing probably, a day and a half? Heating it, beating it, whatever. 20 minutes, I pop everything back on, get it bolted on, check it, and I'm like, torqued down. I bought a torque wrench, torqued down the cell, whatever. Now, I'm like, if I have to do the other one, it's going to a shop.
Yeah,
I'm not doing this. And this thing hasn't been exposed to salt and stuff like that. It was just, it was an oil-filled truck before, some mud and stuff or whatever. So there is that fine line, I know, with both of us who are like, hey, we can do this, but sometimes I gotta,
Yeah, well, it's like I told you the other day and we laughed about it. I was like, working on a vehicle is the only time as a guy you wish you had small hands. You're working on something, you're like, I can't reach this. And I'm like, I'm not a big dude, but I'm trying to squeeze my little arms up and underneath this and at an angle and I'm trying to grab something and turn it. And I'm like, shit, if I had smaller hands, and I'm like,
I could get up in this mix.
Right. And there's no time I ever got any guys if I had small hands. But yeah, it's, I don't know. It comes to territory, I guess.
It's the one time.
All
right. So you said you brought some stuff?
I did.
From Louisiana?
I brought some stuff. I did.
What did you bring?
I'm no artist by any means. I know I'm covered in whatever, but I don't know what I'm doing. My girlfriend is an artist. She can paint and draw anything. But so some nights we have paint nights.
Yeah.
Because it's better than sitting in front of TV just losing your life.
Definitely.
watching
our YouTube
videos.
You hold YouTube's a different genre.
Yeah. But I painted something for you because I knew I was coming. And I painted this nice little portrait of you.
That looks exactly...
looks just like you.
Exactly
but what I did
like
was,
me.
because I'm not an artist, we did all around. I did DTF 2024 and then OG. DTF. And I'm the reason he
Down
has
to
that
fish.
tattoo. And then I did Hey Y'all.
Hey Y'all.
We know. And then I did Bomber. And then I did the Mexican, which is what most people know me as.
Yep.
Yeah. And then on the back, because my buddy is a Marine, I did The Few, The Proud, my brother. And then I did Consafos. If anyone does graffiti or tattoos or anything, Consafos is like a respect thing. So I did it and then I signed it. I usually go by numero uno. So numero 24. And then I painted his little palette, little stand-up thing. I don't know what it's called. Easel. That's the thing. So we did it. And he may have cried. He may have cried.
Thank you.
And then I because like I said, I'm not an artist. I wanted to do something for Lindsay, who's hiding in the back. And I tried. It was horrible. I tried. I did the canvas, and then I had my sweet, lovely girlfriend, Jewel, paint the outline for me, and then it literally looked like someone who was blind painted it. So I was like, it's not good. And she was like, you can commission me. And she painted this for Lindsay's little Louisiana office, which is awesome.
That is freaking sweet.
And she has a great office with amazing things in it.
That is cool.
And so we did that. Yeah, and that was the gift I brought with me from the dirty.
That is awesome.
Yeah, so good times, man. Like, this trip has been long coming, but like, we done it.
For you, I have a red LED light bulb. Hope you enjoy.
You brought a red light.
It hasn't, man. It's been way too long. And we went, as usual, way too over. But you know what? I'm super stoked that I don't think I don't have to delete any of this.
I know, right? We haven't said anything bad. We haven't talked about anyone.
That was horrible.
Yeah, the first one we did was...
We had lost our freaking minds.
I blame Lindsay.
Yeah.
Because she was like, let's go gamble. Let's go to the casino. And then y'all can film something. And we just went hard. And it's like, that's what we did because we're Louisiana animals. And we're like, let's go. Yeah. I mean, don't threaten us with a good time.
All those reasonably corrupts didn't help either. Well, brother, thank you. This has been long overdue for sure.
Yes,
I'm glad you're up here. Hey, thank y'all for watching. I will put a link to his Instagram for Mary Jane in the description. And I'm going to post a couple of pictures.
Buy merch. Buy merch.
Buy merch, yes.
Buy
yes.
merch.
There's also a link in the header for sure.
Yeah. It'll cover up your hair. Or your lack of.
The lack of. I know, forehead. Dude, that's making me I can run faster. His hair slows him down when he runs.
It does. I don't run. I only run if I'm being chased. I mean, I am brown. So it's awesome.
Bye, y'all. Take care. Thanks, brother.